you're joining us live still at the International Quilt Festival here in Houston. Yesterday was busy. I was pretty amazed at the rush of people down here for a Thursday. Today, same busyness. In fact, we're trying to get a breathing moment in order to come back and connect with everybody that's not here at Houston. So if you're going to be joining us, I had a gentleman yesterday say, hey, it was great to see you online. So we have a few of you that are local to the area. Come by, say hi. We have a free gift for you in the booth if you stop on by. If you're joining us live, we have a couple specials that we're bringing to you as well so that you can participate in some of those additional discounts we're doing at the show. The other big thing is reach out to the all of our dealers are running our specials on the machine. So our 16s, our 19 elites, our 21 elites, everything is on sale. Buy a machine, get a free frame, really is what some of those specials are. In fact, we're going to be talking about the 19 elite. And Devin, if you're good, we're going to be, he's helping me behind the screen. We're going to take a step over and we're going to show you also our new 19X, brand new, actually first time anybody's going to see it. We didn't demonstrate it yesterday, launched it at market. There's new low cost 19 that we also have. So you might be bridging between the 16. I really want the 19. If I'm the budget conscious person, hey, we have the perfect 19-inch long arm for you as well. Question for someone at the show. Wonderful. Oh, question if you're at the show. Thanks for joining us. The price for the new 19X Elite, wow, 21X Elite. Normally that's $9,499 is its retail price plus a frame. It normally lists at $12,500. The special for the show with a frame up to 12 foot is $8,499. So $8,500. That is something that we are running. So if you're interested, take a look. You can log online or stop by our booth. We actually have two of them that are free motion, one hooked up to the computer automation. Again, normally at $12,500, on sale specifically for $8,499. So that's an amazing deal. So if you're here, we're getting a lot of people moving into that, even from the 19 that I'm going to show you, because the 19 is right around $7,500. So about 1,000 more gets you into that professional 21 series on the bigger frame as well. Okay, so Devin, I'm going to answer this question that I'm going to ask everybody. In your mind, I'm going to say, who would be the ideal person that a 19, who would be the ideal quilter for the 19, or who would the 19 be ideal for you? So I'm saying a lot of different ways. So thanks for being patient. I'm all over the place. I have Devin behind going, that's kind of an interesting one. So, but really, who is this machine for? Why would I move to the 21, or why might I stay at the 16? This 19 is a perfect mid spot. And what we have found is that if I'm at home and I still have the limited space, and I've looked at, and I might have a hoop frame, it might be a cutie that I've been using, or it might be a 14 plus or a 15 that we've had for quite some time. You maybe had a 16-inch sit-down machine that you moved into one of our hoop frames. This 19 is really the ideal product for you because it works with what you already have. There's no other investments on frames. You don't need to extend it. You don't need to change where you're currently quilting at. What we're simply doing is giving you more features in the same package or in the same position. So a lot of our customers over the last couple of years have bought our Q-Zone hoop frame. So the hoop style frame, because you don't have room for the 10 or the 12-foot frame. And you've been using your domestic machine, or you had the 15-inch machine. And you got a question here? Yeah.
So let's go to I have a cutie frame. What is the biggest machine I can get for this frame?
Beautiful. The biggest machine you can put on the cutie, voila, is the 9-inch. And maybe as part of a demo, I'll show you why. On that frame, you can actually just pull the rails out. Nothing else is needed. If you have that foldable table, it will work the exact same on that table with your domestic, with a 16, or with the 19-inch machine. So you can use this 19 on that frame. What we're doing, I think you can get our standard 19 is $6,499, so $6,500. We're including, if you already have the cutie, a free light bar that you can put over that as one of the freebies with that machine as well. So 19 inches, there you go, works with the cuties or the Q-Zone hoop frames. That is the largest machine. So that's what we have right now. What does 19 mean? 19 means down from the needle of the machine here, from the needle to the back. That is what 19 inches means. And so that is the space that we end up having it. That's what allows us to move the machine over this entire area. And this gives us more quilting space than if we had a 16, which would be 3 inches shorter. If I was 15, I would end up having about 4 inches less space. So the 19 just gives us a longer reach. Because of that, Devin, one of the things that we needed to do, and this is where our handlebars came from that are on our new 16 Elite, is they actually came from the 21 and the 19 machines. And what that means is this is the handlebar. And what we ended up doing is we ended up having to make it so that these can extend. So what we want to do is we want to make them extendable. And the reason we do that, because when we're at the back of the frame, what we don't want to do is we don't want to have to lean over as we're working back, because we don't want our sore back. So what we want to do is extend those handles, which in essence extends our reach, so that we don't have to worry about leaning over in order to work in the back. I'm a tall guy, I'm about 6'3", and if I work in the back, I feel like I want to reach forward. That's not ideal. Extend the handles, we can kind of keep that good posture. We can then quilt at the back of the frame. When we come front, we can leave those handles extended, or if I'm going to do a lot of work, we can then restrict or reduce the handle length and then use those in the front area of the frame. So that's one of the big things that we did. So this is a really great thing. This was a new innovation for us when we came off the 21. We knew that we needed to give you an ability to work in this area just as easily in the back as in the front. Now here's something unique. Let's look at this machine really quick. It looks quite different. So we have this cast aluminum as the main body. And one of the things we did is we actually took and we covered it with this beautiful, with injection molded plastic. And the reason we did this is what we found is that if you were at home and you were quilting on your cutie, or you were using a domestic machine and you were looking at long arm, we found that there was a disconnect. They looked industrial. They looked kind of big, a little bit more intimidating. And when we designed the 19, we said, hey, how do we make that look a little bit more friendly? Familiar. How do we look and make it look like it should be in my home with the rest in my quilting space? And so we designed this differently. We actually were able to make the body more rigid than our 15 or our 16 series, and we were able to lighten it. So this machine is about the same weight as our current 16-inch machine, but we've been able to extend it, adding that additional strength to it. So what we get is all the professional features, the stitch regulation, the longer throat space, the big touch screen, all these things, but in the package that looks and feels very familiar and comfortable. What we find is when we're here and we're talking and we show somebody the 21, they're like, oh, I don't need a professional quilt. We walk them around, we can say, hey, here's this 19. They're like, oh yeah, this looks great. Let me go ahead and try it. So they usually will go between the 16 and the 19. So that's kind of something for you to know. Devin, I'm gonna have you kind of come around the front on this. This is the Elite machine. This one does have this large 7.5-inch touchscreen that gives us a chance to select many features and functions with what this is. Give me just a minute here. Can I have you hold, just to stay here for just a second? Give me just a minute here. Just needs some help. We're not getting some help. So if you can kind of help her out, things. All right, sorry, we're crazy busy. So I'm going to find some manpower because we have a lot of people looking to demonstrate all sorts of things. Thank you for your patience. So this touchscreen really has been enhanced. Those of you that might know our previous ones, we had about a 2.5-inch. This one gives us all of those touch features and functions. Look at all those different stitch regulation modes: precise, cruise, manual, and basting. So these are modes that change the operation of the machine. Here's where we have the stitch per inch, which is the size of the stitches or how many stitches. And what we can do is we can tap those buttons, or we can even drag and change those if we want. Over here, we have an ability to jog the needle, so we don't have to walk around the back of the machine. Our needle's up and our needle's down. And here are some really fun things. On the new Elite series, we have some really fun new features. This is what we call edge warning. And what this does, this will allow us to choose. If we kind of scan down here for a minute, I'm going to select an area. I'm going to say I'm going to go from this area, and we're going to choose this really quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select, and what we're going to say is I want to make sure that the machine can warn me if I'm getting close to my area. What this is used for is, as we're free motion quilting, sometimes we don't want to bump into the rail, or at the front of my quilt, we don't want to run out of space. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you, if I'm going to define this space here for us. All right, we're going to turn this on. So what this is going to tell us, and I'm going to have you kind of watch down here as I turn the machine on, if I'm going to be stitching in an area and we get closer. I need to throw the machine, but as we get closer, you can actually see how the machine's lights turn red, and there's an audible beep. And what that is doing is it's warning me that I'm getting close to the area that my machine will be out or bump. And so if we can step back, Devin, so I can show you this. On this frame, this is a hoop style frame. And as we're quilting, what we find is that there are a few places where the machine won't go. One is it's not going to go past the back rail. Two is as we get to the side, This right here, the machine's going to bump into the side, so we actually can't quilt into the space. And the same thing when we pull it down, the machine's going to be done. So this helps us know the limitations or the space that we can easily move the machine within. And it's like your car. If you're backing up and you can't really see, man, is it nice to have that backup camera and that warning that tells you how close you are. The same thing when we're moving to the front. So this gives us kind of this parking area, or in essence, this area that when we're moving the machine through, that we're going to be always in a safe place, not with that machine getting bumped, and I won't get flat spots in my patterns as I'm pre-motion quilting. So I love showing you that we have some patented technology like that, not only on the 19, but on all of our elite machines that you get to get access to. So let's just look at a couple things here really quick. Here is this current version we're showing you. So this is the 19 Elite machine on one of the Q-Zone hoop frames, or the QD is on sale for $7,699. And Devin, with what this is, let's get to take a walk, and we're going to kind of follow me over to this other side. And I know we're really busy, so you can see we have people, but I'm going to show you our 19X. So the popular version, this is what we have, our first version. People love this new color. This is our new blue that we have. You'll notice that the touchscreen's a little bit smaller, but it has literally the same types of functions. So it still has the edge warning, our needle positions. It has multiple modes. And again, we can go ahead and quilt with this thing. The machine quilts very, very well. It's very, very light as well. Easy to move around. And so when one of our quilters, they were asking, hey, Nathan, if I wanted to, I have a cutie, what machine might I put on that cutie? I would put on, this 19 is a really great one, on sale for $64.99 is the price on that. So it makes it very, very affordable. Thanks for our patience. I think we got out of range on the router there, which is really fun. But this is our low cost 19. So very affordable. If you're in this for the first time, if you buy it at $64.99, you get your choice of one of the hoop frames or the Q-Zone Clean. You can also upgrade to the Continuum for only a little, just under $800 more. So literally a professional long arm, our 19 with stitch regulation, with our touch screen, with the built-in, all those different functions, the edge warning, the adjustable handles, all of that for $6,499 with one of the frames of choice. Again, upgrading to the Continuum for only $800. That's a phenomenal price. So with the Continuum, we'd be right at $7,300 for a 19-inch machine with a frame up to 12 foot. That's an amazing deal. So that's kind of why we're here talking about some of the specials. Reach out to your dealers. If you're online, go ahead and Google QNIQUE, so that's the name of our machines, or Grace 19X machine, or the 19 Elite machines, and you'll see those on sale at several of our dealers as well at this phenomenal price. Again, if you're here at the show, stop on by. We'd love to talk with you, get your hands on it. In fact, here, Derek, you're good. We've got some more customers that are going to be some demonstration. We're going to let them get into it as we continue. You guys are good. You can go ahead and play it. There you go. So there we go. That's kind of what we have. Let's see if there are any questions that those that are here would like to ask. It looks like we're probably good. Stay with us. We're going to play some more videos to show and share with you more inspiration from some of our events that we've had both here at fall and during the summertime. Be back later. We're going to do another demonstration on the True Cut Master Cutting Collection. And for those that maybe didn't have a chance to join us this morning, we're going to do another one on the Cutie Frame as well. So thanks again from here at Houston at the International Quilt Festival with the Grace Company. I'm Nathan Rosnoznik. Stay with us, and we'd love to have and talk with you again a little bit later today. So thank you.
For joining me today. I am so excited about this week because I get to tell you about my quilting journey and how I got to where I am today. It all starts with my sweet grandma. Her name is Sarah Ann Bratton Matthews. I had to get all that in there. That is my sweet grandma. I did not know her very well. She was quite a stern lady, and she lived in Missouri, in Odessa, Missouri, and we lived in Utah, so we only saw them rarely, very often, and she didn't like the mountains. She liked the flat lands, and so she wouldn't come and visit us very often. But this is her beautiful grandmother's flower garden quilt, and I just want to show you some of my favorite blocks because she lovingly took the little flour sack fabrics that they got, and they saved everything back in those days. But notice how right here in the center, how she cut them out to make sure that the flowers were kind of the center, and that she matched the flower with the little purple and the yellow. And then she did that throughout. So here's another little one. It's a pink one, a pink and blue, and how she was able to match it and cut the flowers out right there. If you can see, it's got her personality in it. She took a pattern and design and made it her own. You can see the beautiful quilting, her beautiful stitches. And then here's the other one. I'm truly fortunate to be able to show you my grandma's quilts. And this Sunbonnet Sue is so representative of my sweet mom, Grace. This was her favorite quilt pattern. And I love how they took the little scraps of quilts and matched them to the solids. And you notice that this doesn't have any purple, but she took the purple and she made the sashing and everything to match. And just so fun and such personality. And beautiful quilting as well. And so anyway, those are two of the quilts that I was able to get from my mom before she passed. And I'm lucky because I'm one of 9 kids. And so to be able to get something that precious and that valuable really means a lot to me. So that was the beginning of my quilting journey. It's through my grandma and her love of quilting and her love of fabric and putting things together. So thank you, Grandma Sarah. My brother, he started out with hand quilting frame, and that is where I started. So the little store that my mom worked at the time my brother came to her was called Mormon Handicraft. And Mormon Handicraft was a consignment shop. It was for moms to stay home and create and make goods, and they could bring their items in to sell, and they'd sell them on consignment so that they had an extra income to make ends meet. And so that's where I started, and I had one of my first jobs there, and I was going to help them close down, but instead of them closing down, they stayed. Another company bought them out, and we were able to keep them afloat and keep ladies in jobs and working from home. And I worked there for several years, and that's where my quilting journey started. And so I brought my very first quilt I ever did. And so it's this little tree. It's all hand pieced and all hand quilted. And it just means a lot to me. It was kind of caught in a flood, so I washed it, and it's kind of coming undone because it's all hand pieced, but it doesn't even have batting in it between it. It just has some flannel. That's what I used to quilt it with. So this is my very first quilt that I ever made, and it's just kind of fun. It's my grassroots. Hi, everybody. everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so excited to be here because I get to be the one to introduce to you our new 16X machine. I'm really excited to show you about that, but first let me tell you about my quilting journey and my story on my story quilt. As you're thinking about making a quilt that kind of represents your life, I encourage you all to do it. It's been so much fun, and it's helped me reflect on what key points in my life that I really want to highlight in my fun quilt. Now, I want to make it a little more whimsical and fun. You may want to add applique. You put your personality into the quilt. That's the biggest thing I want you to take away, is it has to represent you. I'm a little quirky, you know that, so I like fun, different things. So I will put little words in it and things that represent me in my life. And so as you're looking at the screen, you'll see that this is my concept of my quilt. And first and foremost, you'll see highlighted in the center is where I got married, and that was the Salt Lake Temple. So I went and I kind of made a block that represents the Salt Lake Temple, and let me show you what it looks like. It's pretty similar to what you see on the screen. So that kind of gave me my guideline as I was putting this together. And the next thing I want you to take away from this, as you're designing your story, use grid paper and use the internet to kind of find concepts or ideas, and then put them print them off, put them on the ground, and start putting them together. That's kind of what I've done to kind of piece my life together. That was first and foremost what I wanted to represent. So it's going to be highlighted in the center because that was a very special day, and I am married to a very wonderful man. And so yeah, that was what I wanted to highlight. Now, the three little gnomes represent three of my children who are living. I have one that's passed away, so the angel up above represents the one that passed away. And those were key important features that I wanted to highlight on my quilt. Now, I haven't got the gnomes done yet because they're not turning out exactly how I wanted, and I want to picture it in my head. So I'm still working on those. But the other thing I want you to take away is take your time. Don't rush it. Don't accept something that is mediocre to you. You won't like it. This is a quilt that represents your life, and everything about it should be just the way you want it. So take your time and unpick and resize and do what you have to do to make it work. Okay, so the three gnomes, and the reason they're gnomes is because we're Jeromes, and I always like to have a play on words, and I call this Jernomes, and I really like gnomes. So that's what my three kids represent. My son, CJ, he likes green, so he's the green gnome. My son, Charlie, he likes purple, so he's purple. And my daughter, Aubrey, she likes black. But I didn't want to do just black, but it might be. It might be just some fun plaids and polka dots to represent her. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, very reflective of my life. So you'll see a cow up in the corner. I lived in Wisconsin for a while, and Wisconsin's a dairy state, so the cow represents Wisconsin. The two yellow blocks are my cheese blocks. They're a representation of cheese. I thought that was a lot of fun. And then you'll see the crows. Well, my husband and I are crowing old together. Then I like cats, and my favorite flower is the sunflower. I love basket quilts, and I represented my house, but I don't think my house is going to be there for very long. I wanted to do something else because I love children's books. So another little block that I did, here's my little basket block that I did. A lot of fun, very colorful, and you can see it's similar to the one that I designed on the quilt. Here's the cheese block right here. It's a lot of fun. I did two different ones because I'm a twin. And this also represents that I'm a twin, but I'm a little different than my twin sister. So that's a dual representation. And then here's my crows. I thought they were a lot of fun. So notice that they're not squared up. So they turned out really cute, didn't they? It's a lot of fun, and I have them facing each other. So that was an extra little thing that was a little difficult to figure out because I'm not mathematical, but I did it. Here's my cat, and here's my sunflowers. Now my sunflowers took some work because they were a little different than regular sunflowers, but I'm really excited about how these turned out. Sunflower is my favorite flower. It's a happy flower, and so I wanted to represent my favorite flower. Now you'll notice that I live in Utah. That's the beehive state. On the border, on the four corners, is a beehive, and you'll see the bees flying away from it or flying to it, whatever you want to. And then we live in the mountains. So we have the mountains around us, and so the mountains are green, and then you'll see gray with a little snow peak. Yeah, so that's what that represents. I'm really excited to be able to finish this up. It's taking time, and I'm going to let it take time because I want it to be just how I envision it. So I hope that I'm going to inspire you to take your own little journey and wander through your life and have fun designing your own story quilt. And let it be a reflection of you, like mine is going to be a reflection of me. And I can't wait to show you when it comes to the Fall Festival. Actually, you know, this is pre-recorded, so I'm going to be here live and show you my fun quilt and show you what's changed on it as well. So very excited. Thanks for joining me. And now I'm going to jump into the 16X machine and show you all the fun features and how easy it is to quilt with.
Welcome everybody, thank you for joining. My name is Mark.
I'm Carla.
And today, Carla.
Yes, we're very excited about today.
Yes, we have a beautiful machine in front of us that we're going to talk about. I'm super excited to talk about this wonderful machine. I know there is thousands of hours that went into this machine to bring it to pass, all the wonderful features. Let's talk about the design and how we came up with it. It's a little different design than some of our other machines out there. You'll notice that we have the blue in color. I love the blue.
And it's 16 inches of throat space, so that's really exciting. And it just has some really great features integrated and built in. So why don't you tell us all about these nice features, Mark?
Yeah, well the first one I want to start out is the bobbin winder. Okay, the bobbin winder, this is the newest bobbin winder on this machine. It is a bobbin winder up top, optical bobbin winder.
That works great, you guys.
It does, it shuts off by itself. So beautiful bobbin winder. And then also with the bobbin winder, you're talking about the throat, Carla, the lighting of the throat.
Right, notice under here we have under-mounted lighting where you used to get lighting just right here. Wow, we put it up a notch to elevate that experience with that extra lighting.
That's right. And then also the lighting goes into the bobbin case as well.
Yeah, notice down here, ooh, see that? Those shadows, very cool. So if you're in a darker room and you're watching that Netflix special, you don't need the light to put that bobbin case in.
That's right, you have the lighting ready for you. But there's so many wonderful features. The bobbin winder, let's go back to the bobbin winder. The machine itself, beautiful machine design, but very user-friendly, easy to use, especially when you're talking about winding for the bobbin or threading the bobbin and threading the machine. There's pad prints all over the top of the machine and on the side to show you where to wind and thread the machine, which is really nice.
It's a great guide if you have a tendency to forget and you have to pull out your instructions. Now we're going to thread our machine. And it's a little longer, so Carla has to stand on her tippy toes, but boy, we enjoy that extra throat space when it comes to quilting. Yeah, so I've just moved my thread over to the other side, and it just makes it a lot nicer as you're quilting to be able to follow along the pad printing. And so notice that right here is my first tensioner. Notice that right now we don't have a post right here. This is because this is now another tensioner. And so I'm going to thread it through this top hole first, and I'm going to bring my thread up out. And as I do so, it allows me to line my thread up over this little tension piece and floss it through. And so I'm going to pull it back this direction so it's pulled through the tensioner. and then bring it down through this hole. And I want you to be able to see, there we go. I don't have my glasses on, so it gets a little confusing.
You're doing great.
All right, and so now I'm going to take my 2 fingers like this, okay? And I'm going to, again, bring it back behind the tension knob. And now I'm going to, with my 2 fingers holding it like this, I now can floss it through and bring it towards me. Okay, now you've noticed that it's pulled through to the center. Now I can bring this bottom thread up behind the check spring, and then I can pull it down, just like that, really easy. Now we'll bring it down behind this post here and up, and we're going to thread it in this hole, and we're almost done. So notice I've just followed the instructions. Now this is really neat. If you've had thread come out of those little windy springs, now this is really going to take care of that. It's a new feature that we've put on the new 16 series machines. And now I brought it between there and the upper needle guide and then through the needle, okay? But I'm not going to thread the needle just this second because we're going to use it to kind of practice our quilting.
I love how simple this machine is to go from or transitioning no matter what you're doing in your quilting.
It is very user-friendly and it's very approachable. So that upgrade experience isn't going to be intimidating for you. And you'll notice, okay, we have it on the Cutie tabletop fabric frame. Well, it's not on the table. It's on
its legs.
It's on its legs. It has legs that you can use because this is a more dedicated system now because you're upgrading to a 16-inch machine. Now we've put it on the legs because the legs are height adjustable. So you can either sit or stand, which is great. I love sitting and quilting, and you can also adjust it so it works well for you. If you're more petite and you need it down lower, set it down lower. If you're taller and you don't want to be hunched over like this, raise it up. So it works well for you and how you quilt.
That's right. And I love the size. It is still only 4 feet. Right? So we're not talking about a huge amount of space that they need to be able to put in their sewing room or wherever they want in their home.
Replace the coffee table in the room and you've got it. It's good to go.
That's right. So I love it. And I love the height adjustability because some people, you're right, want to stand, want to sit, and it's really easy to adjust. They have the couple bolts on each side and then you're good to go on the adjustment.
Yeah, the big thing is that now you can adjust the quilting area. And all you need to do is lift these levers up and you'll extend it out. You'll pull the machine forward and so you can extend it out as far as you need to, and then you'll just lock it into place.
I love that. So the 16, Carla, we just adjusted it without tools.
Right.
You can adjust the Cutie frame to go from a smaller machine to this beautiful 16-inch machine by just lifting up the levers on each side, and you can pull this out.
Right, and with the Cutie frame, it's easy to shift your fabric, so it allows you to quilt any size quilt. You're not limited in the way you want to quilt, and limited on the size quilts you can quilt. So this machine just allows you a lot more capabilities and allows you stitch regulation. If you don't have stitch regulation and you haven't been using it, boy, that is a great feature.
It is. It's the best feature. It is built in. Talking about built in, let's look at the screen. I love the screen. So the screen is integrated with the machine itself. Here is where we can navigate through the settings of the machine. This has 4 stitch modes. We talked about the regulation. So this has the precise and cruise, which both have the regulation built into it. Now, I love precise. Now, cruise, that's a different kind of stitching because it constantly goes up and down as you stop. On the screen, I'm going to go ahead and move it right to cruise. And we're doing at 5% of the machine speed. I could increase that all the way up to 25. Okay, and back down to 5. I'm going to bring it back down to 5. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button on the handlebars. We'll talk about here in a minute. I'm going to hit start, and you notice that it's just going to go at a 5% of the machine.
And that's the needle going up and down. It's at 5%. But he could raise that and make it go faster.
That's right. And this is how smooth that is. I'm going to move that around, and you can see it's regulating. So when I'm slowing down or speeding up, but that cruise allows you to do very intricate designs and filling in those gaps by having it constantly go up and down.
Right.
I just love that. Now it has needle jog built into this. Needle jog is really nice because it keeps, or it allows you to move your needle down to position if you want to pick up where you left off, or you just want to see if your needle is in spot to start again where you left off, right? And now I'm going to hit the needle jog. And as you notice, the needle point is going to go ahead and move down in increments. And I just love that needle jog feature.
It is a really nice feature, especially if you're using the automation. It really helps hone in your placements. It's really nice.
Okay, that's just a couple of the modes. So it has precise, cruise, base, and manual, and the needle jog. There are other features on the screen, Carla, that we love. There's one in the middle that I'm going to let you talk about, that button right in the middle that says edge. What is that edge?
It's the edge warning feature. It's a feature that allows you to quilt without bumping the front or the back of the machine or the sides. When you're using the Cutie tabletop fabric frame or any hoop style frame, not even that, even the rolling frames, we kind of have a tendency to be quilting and then forget that we can hit the back of the machine and throw off our stitches. So the edge warning is just like a warning in your car. It's going to warn you when you're getting close. And I love it when I'm using the ruler base and ruler work, or if I'm free motion quilting and edge to edge design, it allows me not to, it gives me that warning that tells me I'm getting close to the edge or to the side or to the front, to the back, and that I need to move the other direction. It is invaluable, because how many of you have hit the back of the machine and thrown off your stitch? I know, several times. And it allows you not to have to tape either. So you don't have to mark your parameters on your hoop frame. This just takes that out, and you don't have to take those extra steps. So nice feature.
It is
I
a
love the
beautiful
feature.
Yes, and I love how you described it as like a car. You're moving up. It won't crash into any of the sides. That is perfect.
Not a bumper car here.
That's right. And then also this machine is really fast.
Yes, it is. It's 1,700 stitches per minute. That is a very fast machine. Very intuitive to how you want to quilt.
That's right. Okay, so again, we're talking about our beautiful 16X machine, okay, our new assignment machine. Elevate your quilting from your smaller machine to this brand new 16-inch machine that stitches 1,700 stitches per minute with all the wonderful features. And we just touched upon a little bit of these features with the threading, the lights, which, by the way, we can dim.
Oh yeah, you can adjust the lighting too, just like make it nice and romantic or loud and in your face. You can have it your way. This is really designed to help you quilt the way you want to quilt.
That's perfect. Help quilt the way you want to quilt. That's almost saying that we always have those quilters who may be scared, transitioning. You know, this machine, it sounds like it's going to really, it's a positive.
Well, even I get a little intimidated every quilt I do. You get anxiety. You spend so long on your top, and you've pieced it with tender, loving care, and you're so excited to get that extra quilting on it, and you're just like, oh, can I do this? I get anxieties every quilt I do, but if you just do that little bit of practicing before, this is just going to kind of ease you in and make you comfortable with your abilities and give you that confidence.
That's right. And with how easy it is to navigate through, that confidence building is going to be pretty fast. Yep, your confidence will go pretty fast, through the roof actually. Okay, the handles. I love the handlebars.
So yeah, so they're telescoping handles. So for you who are more petite and have a little shorter distance, you can telescope them out so that you can have them out here. You're taller, then you want a little closer, you can adjust them up and down. You can make it so that you're not turning, you can get right in there and do your small little stipple stitches. And then the buttons are just right here. I love our new handles. They are so easy to use and very, very, very comfortable.
Okay, I love the button on the handlebars. Okay, there's 4 simple buttons, and the ones on the right has the start button and the stop. There you go, and needle down. Very simple. And the ones on the left would increase or decrease the speed or the stitches per inch. All right, how light is this machine as you're moving it around?
It is very light and it's very smooth. Now you would think with a lighter machine, it's going to kind of get away from you. It does not. It is very, very smooth. I'm really proud of this machine and the time and the energy that we have taken to make it work so well for you as a quilter. Carla didn't have to nag a lot. The out-of-the-box experience is just going to be amazing to you. It comes with detailed instructions, and even the box itself is part of the experience of putting the machine together, putting the wheels on the machine. We really went through and thought of those details of how easy is it for you to lift up out of the box and put the wheels on and the encoders on, just all those little details that make it even that more special and that more intuitive.
Out of the box experience is really big, right, as you're getting the machine out. All right. We're on this cutie frame with our 16-inch, the cutie frame with the legs. We can adjust it. Should we go ahead and put the quilt
let's put the quilt on and let's kind of get started with, we've got it threaded, then we'll thread our needle. So what I'm going to do now, you'll notice that we were caught up on that, but I'm going to take the clamps off and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up your project with your 16 on the cutie frame. And now it's just the cutie frame because it's not on a tabletop.
Yes.
You can say it has nice legs though.
Yes, you can.
What quilter doesn't want to hear those words?
That's right. Nice legs.
And I brought this project in because it was kind of fall-ish.
It's
And
beautiful.
it is actually bigger, so it will work really well. Now we're to my favorite part, the quilting. I love to quilt. And so what I'm going to do is come over here to my corner and I'm going to position my needle right over here in the corner. I'm just going to use my nice needle up, needle down button. I love having it right here with my start and stop. And then I'm just going to insert it and pull up my bottom thread. Now as I pull up my bottom thread, it's as easy as that. And now I'm just going to kind of go around the blocks and do some up-down stitches and just have fun. That's the point about this. It's going to elevate your experience, but most of all, it's going to bring the fun into quilting. And that's what we want for you here at the Grace Company. We don't want blood, sweat, and tears. We just want happy quilters.
Yes.
And that's what we are. And see how smooth that is? I'm just going to do some up, down. And I have in the regulated cruise mode. So I'm going to come down, and now I'm going to come along this, and I'm just going to do back and forth. So hang on here. I had to get that thread out of the way because I didn't stop and cut it. Just have fun quilting and doing what you want. Now, to position me back up over, to go up and down, I'm just going to do the same thing. I went along that ditch line to get over to the next one. And now it's going to bring me down, position me so I can go back and forth. So notice my orange squares are my back and forth, and my white squares are my up and down. And everybody asks why I have my hand here. I don't know. I just do. And now I'm going to come up and down and have fun. That's what quilting's all about. It's not a complicated stitch here that I'm doing, that I'm making. Mark, you want to try it?
Oh no, you're doing.
Come on, Mark.
Well, it's so beautiful. I'm not gonna mess that up. Yeah, so smooth, so beautiful. I'm not gonna mess that up.
So now I'm going to come back this way because I want to come down and come up and down. Man, so much fun. Now I'm going to come back like this. Okay, so now I'm over here. I'm going to go along this stitch line and come back up. You notice I'm not even counting how many I'm doing. I'm just having fun. And I'm going to end right here in this corner. There you go.
Well, Carla, love our 16-inch machine.
Love
It is
it.
new, it's smooth, it's easy, user-friendly, beautiful.
You'll love it. Come and see how it works and join us for the rest of the Fall Festival. Thanks.
Yep,
We'll
thank
see ya.
you.
Hey, my name is Meg, and I am a quilter, an improv quilter usually, but you know, other types of quilting too. And today I want to make a harvest moon quilt with you to celebrate the season we are currently in. There's a printable that you guys can use to make this. 6 pages, makes a little over 18-inch circle, or you can just make your own, and that would be okay. So you need your tape and your regular scissors, no fabric scissors, as we know. And we're going to cut these out, and we'll tape them together and then cut them out. There are diamonds on the pages that you just need to align. So I have cut out my Harvest Moon template, which is just a really big circle. You can do this project to make this in a smaller scale. It doesn't need to be this size. I just want to, you know, go big or go home, right? So now what we're going to do is work on some improv quilting. Basically, I'm going to create a new fabric using scraps of old projects. And I'm going to create a new piece of fabric that I can cut this out of. And it's going to have lots of different oranges and yellows, so it'll look very much like the Harvest Moon. While I do have lots of yellows and oranges in just my fabric stash, I like to use as many scraps as I can because I've accumulated a lot. You probably have too. So I'm picking out oranges, yellows. I could probably do like a light red or a pink. Really, it's up to you. Now that I've got my medium-sized pile of scraps, I'm going to go and iron all these because they have been shoved in my scrap bucket. With improv quilting, the only rules are ones that you kind of create for yourself. So for this project, I've created that I'm going to use yellows and light oranges, and I'm going to include curves. Your rules don't need to include that. You could have rules that are you're going to do just straight lines. The kind of improv quilting I'm doing here with curves is not what you have to do. I think it complements the moon shape, but it could also be interesting to have lots of different sized straight pieces at different angles, because that would really contrast the circular shape of the moon that we're creating. So the thing about improv is it's a space to create and to explore. That's the beauty of it. It's a place to play. We all need a little bit more play. Let's get to cutting. In order to get curved pieces that are going to naturally sew well together, I layer the pieces over top of one another in order to cut them. So for example, I'm going to put these two together. I layer one fabric on top of the other. Now here is the tricky part. I'm going to flip this smaller bit of fabric over top and keep all the pieces where they are so I can keep that aligned. I just move slowly. All right. And then I pin. If you feel really comfortable with curves, you do not need to pin as much. I find if you're frustrated by them or you're just starting, it's a really good idea to go down and just pin several times. We're going to set this aside to sew in a minute. We're going to cut a few more of these. For this one, I am going to put one piece of fabric down and layer the other one on top. I don't have to follow this curve. What I can do is create my own curve. I just need to make sure I know where the other piece of fabric ends. So we're not working with kind of a standard size. Look, I'm going to create more of a curve this way. We take those pieces from this darker orange off. And now I'm going to do that careful flip. Okay. I've got it pinched. Now there are times where I will just put the one pin in where I flipped it. But if curves aggravate you, I would suggest pinning them throughout. So I've got 2 chunks put together. We're going to add a few more. I start with my bottom piece of fabric. I'm going to lay my next fabric on top, getting them nice and flat. So I'm going to show you a strategy that can be helpful if you're new to curves or this makes you a little bit nervous. It's a Friction pin. Some people swear by them, some don't. I am just going to make a mark, kind of like when you're sewing clothes and you have the marks on the pattern that tell you where things should align. This is another strategy that's helpful. And then you can put pins in these spots. The Friction pins, the ink disappears with heat. All right, now I'm going to do my careful flip. I'm actually going to start at this one. I'm making sure that my little lines match up. Pin them together. And then I'll go on and match up my other marks. I'm matching up those lines, pin together. That way I know that my curve is not getting stretched out, which is always the concern, isn't it? All right, this one is ready to be set aside to be sewn together. Oh, I like these together. That's very nice. Okay, I am going to trim this yellow piece down because I know I don't need quite this size piece. All right, I liked those so much together. I am going to do that again. Oops. Do have to unclip your rotary cutter.